Good morning. This is Embedded System DT3102. Course outcomes. Students will be able to select the relevant microcontrollers for various industrial applications. Students will be able to use embedded C programming language to maintain the embedded system. Students will be able to interpret the communication standards of embedded systems. Students will be able to develop basic applications of embedded systems. Students will be able to interpret features of real-time operating systems. So we have discussed this program of toggling only single bit already, isn't it? We have discussed this, and it is continuous. Out of port 2 bit, fourth bit is discussed. Fourth bit is used. So we have to go for S bit. We have to define my bit variable, and we have to assign the P2 hat 2 for hat 4. That means port to fourth pin. Then my bit variable you can use my bit equal to 1, my bit equal to 0, turn on P2.4, turn off P2.4, and so on. This we have discussed. Similarly, same we can use for single bit. We can program to monitor bit 1.5, first port P1, fifth bit. If it is high, we can check that fifth bit. We can read that fifth bit. Rather, we can read. My bit is a variable. S bit equal to my bit P1 hat 5. Okay, so that my bit is checked whether it is 1. Then 55 is sent to P0. Otherwise, the AA is sent to P0. So external value on the IC pin, external circuit is connected, and this P1.5 pin is there, that is port 1 fifth pin. If this pin is having high value, that is one value, then port P0 is there, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So total 8 lines will be there for P0, and on 8 lines 55 is outputted. Otherwise AA is outputted. 55 is 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1. A is 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0. So this is the program. Then door sensor we can have on P. Now in previous case what we have done, 1.5 is used as the input. Whatever the voltage 1 or 0 is there, that is sensed, and accordingly output is given to the P0. So we can use input or output as a port as a input or output. So in this program, the door sensor is connected to P1.1. So port 1, pin number 1 is used as an input pin because it is connected with door sensor, and buzzer is connected to 1.7, P1.7. So first port, 7th pin is output pin. This buzzer is there, and first port first pin is input pin because there is a sensor which is connected. So if the sensor is giving some value, the buzzer will be operated. So this is the program. So sound the buzzer by setting the square wave. So how buzzer will be operated? Buzzer is a circuit which is requiring a square wave or any sine wave to operate. So square wave have to be generated. So make the bit high, keep it is for some time, make the bit low, keep it is low for some time, make the bit high, and so on. Square wave have to generate. So function will define here void ms delay unsigned integer type of the delay value will be given. Ms delay is the function definition. We have discussed this already, function definition. Then S bit D sensor is the value P1.1. S bit buzzer is the value P1.7. 1 cap 1, 1 cap 7. So single bit operations are there. Wide main wide, main starts. D sensor is 1. Make P1.11 input. While D sensor equal 1, buzzer equal to 0, ms delay 200, buzzer equal to 1, ms delay 200, and this goes on varying. Okay, this go on rotating till D sensor is 1. If D sensor becomes 0, buzzer will stop. D sensor is 1, buzzer will start. And this is the ms delay unsigned integer I time. This is the argument unsigned integer ij for I equal to 0. Okay, I less than I time, increment I for j equal to 0, j less than 1275, increment j. This delay function program we have discussed many times previously. Okay, this is the function. So this is the declarations. This is the main function in which buzzer is 0, then delay is there, buzzer is 1, then delay is there. Till the sensor is 1, it is executed. And this is the ms delay function program. Okay, then there is LCD interfacing. Okay, data pins of LCD are connected to P1. The information is latched into LCD. As we know, LCD is having the suppose 2 into 16 is there. Okay, or any other. So there will be, for each character there will be one register, and those many registers will be there, and we have to access those registers or memory locations. And for that accessing those registers, we have to have the address for each register. Address for each register. So there are address lines for LCD, and then whatever data is there, 8 lines will be there for data, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are the data lines, these are the address lines. Then there is a ground line, VCC line, then there is a contrast line, then there is enable line, latch line, isn't it? Other control lines are there. So this is about the LCD. We already you have already studied this into previous semester, and back to that also second year, all both the semesters. So we have to connect this to some ports and we have to execute. So we can use the LCD data P1, LCD data declaration. P1 port is used for as a LCD data lines. P1 is connected data lines. So it is defined. So you can use LCD data name for P1. Okay. We do not require to remember P1 for data. So S bit enable is 2.0. So 2.0 pin is connected to enable. Okay. Then the main void main is there. Then unsigned character message is there. Whatever message is stored in the message variable. The earth is but one country is the message. You can put here your name, roll number, or IOP, or DBATO IOP, whatever, or EXTC. This is the message. Then there is a unsigned character Z. Z is used for as a counter for Z equal to 0, Z less than 28, because this is 1, 2, 3, space is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, again space is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Total 28 characters we have to display. So we have to run this for loop for 28 times. 0 to 20, 27. Z less than 28 means 0 to 27. This is to send all the 28 characters. Okay. Then this for loop, there is a curly bracket opening, curly bracket closing. So this is the block of commands for loop. So LCD data equal to message Z, isn't it? So whatever the letter or whatever the value of symbol, ASCII symbol, or whatever the uh, element of this message array is there. So first element is T, second capital T, not T, capital T, because small t and capital T we have different values. Second element is small s, third element is small e, fourth element is a space, fifth element is capital E, sixth element is A, seventh is R, T, H, again space is there, again I, S, space, B, U, T, space, O, N, E, space, capital C, O, U, N, T, R, Y. So the earth is but one country. This is the total different elements in the array. Okay, and each one by one 28 all characters are same. So this message arrays and its element in the bracket is sent to LCD data. What is LCD data? P1 port. So these data lines are connected to P1 port. Then when it is assigned to LCD data, EN is made 1 and EN is made 0. So a high to low pulse to latch the LCD data. So if the high to low pulse is given, high to low, it will generate the latch data. Okay, this pulse is generated. Okay, so En equal to 1, En equal to 0, and pulse is generated. Again for loop, Z equal to 0, for loop. Then again Z equal to 1, again for loop is executed. Next message is and enable one more latch. Pulse is given. Again Z equal to 3. Message of 3, the third letter. Again latch is given. And so on. It is up for 28 times. So this is the program for displaying the message on LCD. You can connect the LCD. You can connect one of the port for data, other port for some enable line. You can tie the VCC etc. to the ground etc. to the appropriate pins. You can have the contrast control by connecting the potentiometer etc. are there. All other things are same. Okay. So port 1, each time we are giving the data, we are latching it by enabling with the pulse. Okay. So this is the LCD interfacing. Okay. Then next program is toggle the bits P0, P1, P2. All bits are toggled. Same program is there, but we are using here SFR data type. Okay. We are using the SFR. SFR P0 is 0x80, SFR P1 is 0x90, SFR P2 is 0x A0. And there is a delay also. MS delay defined 250 MS delay. MS delay 250. Again for it is one more time it is used. So P0 equal to 0x55, P1 is equal to 0x55. Why we are defining here SFR? What is the difference in the previous program? Same program we have executed previous slide also. In that we are not writing SFR because we are including the file reg51.h. Here now we are not including the file reg51. Register declaration is there in the reg51, and if you are not including it, then register address will have to define in the program, and that we have done here. SFR data type is used to declare, and then we are using the, isn't it? Port P0, P1, P2. You can go by adding the library header file reg51.h, or you can define here. So that is the main essence of this program. And this is the program for the delay, MS delay. Many times we have discussed. Yes bit, my bit 095. Okay. Void main void unsigned integer z. Directly you can declare yes bit, my bit 0x59 95. Directly you can declare the address yes bit, my bit 0x95. Okay, my bit is 1, my bit is 0, that is same program. So you can declare the 1.5 bit like this. You can assign 1.5 bit directly without adding any header file. Okay, 90 is the initial address for P1. You can have SFR P1 0x90, and you can use P1.5. Instead of 90, we can define 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. Okay, so 95 is for P1.5. So port 1, bit, fifth bit directly can be defined as yes bit, my bit equal to 0x95. So either you remember these addresses, or you can directly include the header file reg51.h, isn't it? Include this, or remember this detail. Okay, or otherwise also you can once you include it, we can have the p1 hat 5. You can use this. Okay, then next is get the status of bit P0, P1.0. Here yes bit in bit and yes bit out bit are defined. In bit is P1 hat 0, out bit is P2 hat 7. Means 1.0 and 2.7. Bit 1.7, 2.7. Yes bit is used to declare SFR bits. Notice we use the bit to declare bit addressable memory. Bit addressable memory is there. Okay. So 80, 90, isn't it? A0. These are the bit addressable memories. Then in main program, MEM bit, memory bit, in bit. If in bit is there, P1 hat 0. Get the bit from P1 hat 0. Out bit is equal to mem bit. So whatever the mem bit is there, whatever the memory bit is there, this is assigned to out bit and sent to P2.7. Out bit is 2.7. So get the value from 1.0 and send it to 2.7. Very simple. Okay. And these are the different results for examining the ANDing, ORing, XORing, inversing, shifting right, shifting left 3 times, 4 times, whatever. Okay. So for this programming, we'll stop, but we'll check now the details of Just wait 1 minute. So we have to start the Peak microcontroller. Peak microcontroller is a peripheral interface microcontroller which was developed in year 1993 by General Instruments Microcontrollers. It is controlled by software and programmed in such a way that it performs the different tasks and controls the general lines. The peak microcontroller are used in different new applications such as smartphones, audio accessories, advanced medical devices, etc. And it is having the different ICs, PIC 16F84, PIC 16C84 types of the PIC, which depends on affordable flash PICs. Microchip recently introduced some flash chips with different types such as 16F628, 16F877, 18F5 452, 16F877. The cost is different, but it has each microcontroller has some different code size. Code will capacity of the code is different for the programming is different for the then RAM size is different, IO pins are different, UART some are having UART AD converter and lot more features are there. PIC microcontroller is basically RISC architecture. Its memory architecture follows the Harvard pattern. Okay, uh, Harvard pattern has separate memories for programming data with separate buses, isn't it? One pattern is having common memory and data bus and address bus are multiplexed. Common memory is there. Another is Harvard pattern, separate memory for program, separate memory for data, and separate buses are there for both these. So this is Harvard pattern. It acts independently and fast. The memory consists of two memories, program memory and data memory, as we have discussed. Program memory is 14K into 4 memory space and used to store 13-bit instructions into program code. Okay, 13-bit. The program memory data is accessed by using program counter register that holds the address of the program memory. Program counter register. Okay, program counter. It holds the address of current location of the memory. So as the program goes on executing, program counter will change accordingly one by one. So whenever reset is there, system is resetted, program counter holds 0000H, and whenever the interrupt is there, program counter holds 0004H. Okay, so 0000 is as a reset memory address and 0004 is as an interrupt memory space. Then there is a data memory. 368 bytes of RAM is there and 256 bytes of EEPROM is there. 360 bytes of RAM consists of multiple banks. Each bank consists of general purpose registers and special function registers, same as the 8051. Special function register consists of control registers to control different operations of the chip. Resources are there: timer, analog to digital converter, serial port, IO port, just like the other microcontrollers. We have discussed the 8051. IO port is there, serial port is there, digital timers are there, counters, isn't it? Similarly, analog to digital converters are also there. TISA register whose bits can be changed to alter the input-output operations of the port A. The general purpose register consists of registers that are used to store temporary data and processing result of the data. Okay. The general purpose registers are each 8-bit registers. Register bit width is 8-bit. General purpose registers. Similar to that, there is a working register. It consists of memory space that stores the operands of each instruction. Instruction is executed. What is the result on which the operation is executed? These results are stored into the working register. Okay. So whatever the execution is going on. In that execution, whatever the data is there, that is stored in working register. Similarly, there is status register. Status register, bits of the status register denotes the status of ALU. Arithmetic logic unit is developing, executing some instruction, and due to that execution, what is the status changed of arithmetic and logic unit? Whether the parity bit, equal parity, odd parity is there, negative result parity bit is there, or auxiliary carry, isn't it? So these status can be uh, observed in the status register. They are stored. ALU status is stored in the status register after every execution of the instruction. And also it is to select the one of the four banks of the RAM. There are four banks of memory banks of the RAM are there, and the status register can be programmed, used to select one of the bank out of four. Isn't it? Very same as that of the 8051. Isn't it? Same thing is there. So this is status register. Either it shows the ALU status and it is used to select the memory bank. Then the file selection register is there. It acts as a pointer to any general purpose registers. You can select any file. It consists of a register file address and it is used to have the indirect addressing. Indirect addressing you must have studied in the assembly level discussion you are having in the previous semester, and this assembly level discussion is having this mode in detail you have studied indirect uh, addressing. Okay, so there is program counter register. We have discussed this here. Program counter register that holds the address of the program memory. After resetting, it goes to 0000H, and if interrupt is there, it goes to 0004H. It holds. Otherwise, it holds the current location of the memory of execution of the program. It is 13-bit register, program counter register. The upper 5 bits are used as a PC latch, PCLATCH, program counter latch, and to independently function as any other register it is, and lower 8 bits are used to program counter bits. Program counter acts as a pointer to instructions stored in the program memory. Okay, so this is about the file selection register. Okay. Program counter latch, PC latch is there, 5 upper bits, and the 8 bits are there, those are as program counter bits. Okay, PC latch and program counter bits, 8 bit and 5 bits combined, it will become the file selection register content. 18-bit register it is. Then there is EEPROM, consists of 256 bytes of memory space, and then permanent memory like ROM is there, but it can be erased and changed during the operation of the microcontroller, and contents into EEPROM can be read from the or written to using special function registers like EECON1, EECON, etc. Okay, special function register operation we have discussed already. So there are IO ports. We have discussed these IO ports in the 8051. Same function is there. But here in the PIC 16 series, it consists of 5 ports. As in the 8051, there are 4 ports, P0, P1, P2, P3. Here in PIC 16, 5 ports are there, such as port A, port B, port C, port D, port E. Okay. 5 ports are there, port A, port B, port C, port D, port E. Okay. Port A is, it is 16-bit port. Port B is 8-bit port. Port C it is 8-bit port. Port D it is 8-bit port. Port E is 3-bit port. Okay. Each port will have here different number of bits. Just like 8051, all the 4 ports are having 8 bits. P0, P1, P2, P3. Here port A is 16-bit, port B, port C, port D are of 8-bit, and port E is of 3-bit. Okay. So port A, which is 16-bit port, it can be used as an input-output port based on status of TRISA registers. Okay, we can use A as an input-output. Port B is 8-bit port. It can be used as a both input-output port. 4 of its bits when used as input can be changed upon interrupt signals. Okay. So depending on interrupt signals, four of these bits used as input can be changed as upon interrupt signals. Then port C is there. It is 8-bit port whose operation input output is determined by the status of the TRISC register, TRISC register. TRISC is register, TRISC is also register. Then D is there, it is 8-bit port which apart from being IO port acts as a slave port for connection to the microprocessor bus. Okay, so it can be used as a slave port for the microprocessor bus connections. And port E, it is a 3-bit port and it serves an additional function of control signals to AD converter. Analog to digital converter is there, then the additional control signals required. For that, this 3-bit port can be used. Then timers are there in PIC microcontroller. 3 timers, out of which timer 0, timer 2 are 8-bit timers and timer 1 is 16-bit timers. Isn't it? So 3 timers are there. Then AD converter also is there, analog to digital converter. The analog to digital converter in PIC microcontroller consists of 8 channel 10-bit analog to digital converter. So analog 8 different signals you can connect. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can connect here one sensor, analog sensor. Here you can connect another sensor, analog signal sensor. Here you can connect another one more sensor. Here you can connect another sensor. Out of these 8 sensors, you can select either of one by 0002 to 111. There will be 3 address lines to select one of the channels. So these are the 8 channels, analog channels to the ADC. And after converting analog to digital, there will be 10-bit conversion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So these are the digital data converted. So 10-bit digital data is converted. See, resolution is 10-bit. And how many channels are there for AD converter? There are 8 channels. That means 8 different sensors can be connected. But at a time, one can convert one channel signal, analog signal into digital signal. Then after completion of that, you can get again convert another channel in analog signal into digital signal. Then again one more channel you can go for. But at a time, you can convert single channel analog signal to digital signal. So you can connect different 8 analog circuits, analog voltages. Okay, so it is 8 channel, but each channel will converted into 10 bits analog to digital converter. The operation of AD converter is controlled by the special function registers ADC ON0, ADC on 1, okay, of the AD converter. The lower bit of the converter are stored in ADR ESL 8 bits address low, and the upper bits are stored in the ADR ESH address high register. Okay, so this is 8 bit and this is the lower bit converted is stored 8 bit and up higher bit will be 2 bits. Total 10 bit is there, isn't it? It requires analog reference voltage 5 volt for its operation. It requires a stable reference of 5 volt. Okay, reference voltage 5 volt. So this is about the analog digital converter. So this is inbuilt inside the IC. So generally these are the requirements of the analog to digital converters. What are the requirements? How many channels it is convert? Some IC may convert only single channel. So there is no need of addressing. Here there are 8 channels, so we have to select the channel. So 3 address lines are required. And conversion is there for it is converting into 10 bits, so 10 data lines are there. And reference strong stable reference is required, so 5 volt reference is also connected. So this AD converter is there in the peak microcontroller. Okay, so this block separate AD converter whatever we are discussing are available. Analog to digital converter separate ICs are available. What we are discussing here is this AD converter is inside the PIC microcontroller. So PIC microcontroller, it is having such analog to digital converter in it, embedded in it, isn't it? And AD converter is embedded in the PIC microcontroller. So in short, we have discussed what is AD converter. AD converter, analog to digital converter, 8 channels analog are there. They can be selected by 3 address lines. Stable reference is required 5 volt, and it converts each channel individually, separately, one channel into 8 different digital bits. Sorry, 10 different digital bits. So it is 10 bit resolution. It stores this ADA address low 8 bits and address height 2 bits. So this is inbuilt AD converter into PIC microcontroller. PIC, it is into PIC, peripheral interface controller. Peripheral interface. Then oscillators are there. Oscillators are used for timing generation. PIC microcontrollers consist of external oscillators like crystals or RC oscillators. You can connect externally. And in case of crystal oscillators, the crystal is connected between 2 oscillator pins. As usual it is because same thing is there in all the microcontrollers and microprocessors. And the value of capacitor connected in each pin is determined the mode of operation of the oscillator. This is the value of capacitor. You can change the mode of operation of oscillator. Different modes are low power mode, crystal mode, high speed mode. Okay. There is a low power mode, crystal mode and high speed mode. If high speed mode is selected, power consumption increases. Crystal mode is there, whatever crystal value is there, accordingly it will work, natural crystal value. And if low power is there, it will work with a lower frequency and consumes less power. So different modes are there, low power mode, crystal mode and high speed mode. If high speed is there, it will consume more power. Low speed is there, speed is less, power is less, but speed also is less. Crystal mode, whatever natural frequency it is working, it is work with that. In the case of RC oscillator, the value of resistor capacitor determines clock frequency. The clock frequency ranges from 30 kilohertz to 4 megahertz. You can change the clock frequency of RC capacitor changing RC oscillator, or you can use the same crystal but change the capacitor with it, and it can have the low power mode, crystal mode and high speed mode. So these are about details about the oscillators in the PIC microcontroller. Oscillators in the PIC microcontroller. Then CCP mode is there. CCP model works as the following 3 modes. There is a capture mode, compare mode, PWM mode is there. In capture mode, the capture of this mode captures the time of arrival of signal, time of generation of the signal or arrival of the signal. In other words, it captures the value of timer 1 when the CCP goes high, isn't it? So many applications requires the time reference of the operation activity. In those cases, it is important to identify the arrival of the signal, start of the signal. starting of the signal is important. So in such applications, it is useful. Capture mode. When CCP pin goes high, okay, CCP pin is giving the high signal at that time when it captures the arrival of the signal, and it is important in the applications. Compare mode is there, it acts as an analog comparator. Comparator, we are knowing, we are inputting one signal, another signal, okay, V1, V2, and accordingly we are getting the output by comparing the signal. If first signal is lesser, second is more, what is the output? If first is more, lesser, second is lesser, what is the output? If both are same, what is the output? Or both are dissimilar, both are similar. So compare mode acts as an analog comparator, and that generates uh, an output when the timer 1 value reaches a certain reference value. Okay. The analog comparator generates the output when the timer 1 value reaches certain reference value. So that compare mode. Okay. Then PWM mode is there, pulse width modulation. PWM mode, it provides the pulse width modulated output with 10 bit resolution and programmable duty cycle. Now pulse width modulated output with changing the duty cycle we have discussed in detail in the open source software and hardware. In detail we have discussed. You can refer that. So PWM mode is also there. When the program duty cycle is changed, it changes the value, DC value. So PWM basically output is a DC equivalent output. It is not DC output, but it is DC equivalent output. If you demodulate the pulse width modulated signal, you will get the DC output. How to demodulate it? Keep the connect the capacitor to filter. Okay, shunt capacitor is used. PWM is generating the square wave with different duty cycle. If duty cycle is 50% and square wave amplitude is 5 volt, just like the digital square wave. Here it is a 10 bit resolution digital signal is there, so it is 5 volt signal suppose. Then for 50% duty cycle, it gives half of the DC value, that is 2.5 volt. For 25% duty cycle, it will give the 1/4 of the DC value, that is 1.25 volt. For 75% duty cycle, it will give the 75% of the DC value 5 volt, that is 3.25, 3.75. Okay, so this is the PWM mode we have discussed. Accordingly, it will give 65% or 60% duty cycle is there, 0.6 into 5 volt, 3 volt will be output, and so on. It provides the pulse width modulated output with 10 bit resolution and programmable duty cycle. Okay, and then other special function registers are there, or other peripherals are there. Another peripherals includes the watchdog timer that resets the microcontroller in case of any software malfunction. Okay, watchdog timer is there that resets the microcontroller automatically when in case of any software malfunction. Okay, then brownout reset is also there. It resets the microcontroller in case of any power fluctuation and others. Some other problems are there. Brownout reset is there. Brown out. When light bulb becomes browner, brown. So like that. Brownout reset resets the microcontroller in case of any power fluctuation and other. For a better understanding of this peak microcontroller, if you consider any practical project like okay, then it will be more clear. Okay. So peak microcontrollers are manufactured by Microchip. They are available in 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit. What is this 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit? It is the data width or register width. The register of the microcontroller or processor is having that many bits. So register width is 8-bit, register width is 16-bit. That is data width is 8-bit, data width is 16-bit, data width is 32-bit. So microcontroller will call it as a 8-bit microcontroller, 16-bit microcontroller, 32-bit microcontroller. In case of 8-bit microcontrollers, various families are there as follows. One is baseline, other is middle range, other is enhanced mid range and advanced peak 18. Okay. The families are peak 10, peak 12, peak 16, peak 10, peak 12, mid range are also there, peak 12F, peak 12F, 16F, peak 18 is advanced. Each will have program memory maximum 3 KB, 14 KB, 28 KB, 128 KB and data memory 138 bytes, 368 bytes, 1 to 5 KB, 4 KB, and the performance of 5 MIPs, 5 MIPs, 8 MIPs and 16 MIPs. Okay. Then some other functions are there. This is having 8-bit ADC, internal oscillator is there, comparator is there. Additional baseline I2C SPI, so communication ports are there. PWM is there, UART is there, 10-bit ADC is there. Then in case of enhanced mid-range, it is multiple additional to mid-range. All these are available, mid-range are available. Additionally, multiple peripherals are there for communication, high performance. PWM is there, independent timer space is there. And advanced peak is having additionally CAN, USB, Ethernet, LAN and PLL clock generator, etc. Okay. So peak 18F4520 is one peak controller, microcontroller. It is having the features which are very important for any devices that makes unique from the other counterparts, other microcontrollers. And these features of peak 18F4520 are like this. Number of pins 40, 8-bit CPU is there and voltage operating is 2 to 5.5 volt and program memory is 32K and instruction memory 16.384 is there. RAM is 1536 byte RAM is there. EEPROM is 256 byte EEPROM is there. 10-bit ADC is there and 13 channels you can connect. So just like previous case we have discussed in programs, 8-bit ADC is there. Here the 13-bit ADC is there. IO ports, 5 IO ports are there, A, B, C, D, E and IO pins are 36. IO pins are there. Then packages are 14 pin PDIP is there, 44 pin QFN package is there and 44 pin TQFP is also there. So this depends on again different ways, types. External oscillator is up to 40 megahertz. So it can be changed and maximum it is 40 megahertz. 4 timers are there. Out of that 16-bit timer are 3 and 8-bit timer is 1. 1 is 8-bit timer, 3 are 16-bit timers. So total 4 timers are there. UART protocol is available. One is there. I2C protocol is available. SPI is there. Brownout reset is there. Watchdog timer is there. What is watchdog timer? Brownout reset. Brownout reset, if there is any fluctuation, it takes care of microcontroller, and watchdog timer, if there is any malfunction, then it is resets. Okay. So watchdog timer that resets the microcontroller in case of software malfunction. Brown out reset is microcontroller fluctuation etc. is taken care. Two comparators are there, and then master synchronize serial port EMSSP module is also there. One capture compare PWM mode is there, 16-bit, 16-bit, 10-bit. Power saving sleep mode is also there, and selectable oscillator operation is option is there. Operating high current sync source for each pin is 25 milliampere. Programmable high low voltage detection is yes. Oscillator startup timer is yes. So these are the features of PEEK 18F4520. Similarly, features of PEEK 18F4550 is also there. It is a nanowatt generator. PEEK 184550 is 8-bit microcontroller, and it has applied with nanowatt technology. Therefore, it requires very low strength for its operation. Low power consumption is there. And some of the important features of this microcontroller, alternate run modes is there. When clocking the controller by timer 1, source or any other internal oscillator block, the power can be reduced during execution of code up to 90%. Okay. Some other run modes are there where power of execution is reduced up to 90%. Then multiple idle modes are there. Alternate run modes are there, multiple idle modes are there. It has the run modes are there and idle modes are there. Run is execution. Idle is not execute. It has the advantage of working even when the CPU disabled but peripherals being active. The power can be reduced up to 4% of the states. So run mode is there, idle mode is there, on the fly mode switching is also there. It is the power managed modes which referred by user code during the operation. It allows the user to implement the different ideas of power consumption into their design and application of software. Okay, so on the fly mode is also there, and low consumption in the key modules is also there. The timer 1, the watchdog timer, both have low power requirements, and universal serial bus, the PEEK 18F4550 implements complete features of universal serial bus UART and supporting low speed and full speed communication with any type of the data transfer. It also has its own on-chip transceiver and 3.3 volt regulator supporting the use of external transceiver voltage regulators. Then it is multiple oscillator options are there. PEEK 18F4550 supports 12 different options of oscillator, which makes the user have a range of choice for developing any application, hardware application. 4 crystal modes are there. Just like the previous one, we have seen the crystal modes are there. The low power mode is there, crystal mode is there, then high speed mode is there, isn't it? So similarly, crystal modes are there. So you can reduce the speed to reduce the power consumption, economical or efficient, isn't it? But if you want or the application requires the high speed operation, then power consumption obviously will also increase. We have to take care of these counterparts, isn't it? Balancing parts. The 4 crystal modes are there to use crystal or ceramic resonators, isn't it? 4 crystal modes are there to use for crystals or ceramic resonators. 4 external clock modes are there, imparting the choice of using 2 pins. Oscillator enter and divide with aid of 4 clock outputs. Whatever the clock of the crystal is there, it can be divided by 4. Okay. or one pin oscillator input with the second one pin as reassigned with the IO, reassigned as IO. The inner oscillator block inside the IC, which offers 4 megahertz clock plus minus 2% accuracy there, and INTRC source. Okay, internal C source about 31 kilohertz stable over temperature, and okay. In addition to the range of 6% selectable block clock frequencies between the 125 kilohertz to 4 megahertz. Okay. The range of 6% selectable clock frequencies between the 125 kilohertz to 4 megahertz is there in addition to that. For the total 8 clock frequencies, this feature releases an oscillator pin for use of further well-known object IO. Okay, ठीक है. Phase lock loop PLL frequency multiplier is available to each, and high velocity crystal and outside oscillator modes are also there, which lets the extensive range of clock speeds from 4 megahertz to 40 megahertz. Just imagine. Very high frequency operation is there. Asynchronous dual clock operation is also there, allowing the USB module to run from high frequency oscillator while relaxing the microcontroller is clocked from inner low power oscillator. For data transfer, USB module is run with the very high frequency oscillator, whereas the microcontroller internally is clocked with very low power oscillator, lesser speed. So combinational operation is also possible. That is, data transfer is with the higher speed, and operation of the microcontroller, which may not require a high speed, is with the lower speed. That lower speed reduces the power consumption. It is very important and very useful feature that makes the data transfer very fast, and microcontroller operation is with low power consumption. So it is more beneficial. So availability of clock source is there. Then inner oscillator blocks are also present. Okay. Then strong reference sources are also offers its own extra functions for strong operations, like fail-safe clock display or two velocity being up, big enough. Okay. The fail-safe clock display is in the option continuously monitors the principal clock supply, main clock supply, whatever the main clock supply is there. One clock is available, it can be multiplied, it can be divided, and it can be derived with multiple clocks with higher frequency, lower frequency, etc. Okay, so it is possible, and it is there. Just now we have seen the different clocks are used for different operations. So whatever the main principal clock supply is there, that reference sign is furnished via internal oscillator. If the clock failure occurs, the controller is switched to internal oscillating block, taking into account the preserved low space operation or the safe operation software shutdown. So suppose the clock fails, then microcontroller is switched over to the reserved low space operation. Low space internal oscillator block is used, and whatever the variables are there, the saving of the variables and details, memory saving is there. Those are all very carefully and safely saved, and then safely the system is shut down, software shutdown. This is called fail-safe clock display. Fail safe. If the system fails, then it is safely shut down. How the safely shutdown is there? Because all the variables is saved into memory and then it is shut down. So that next time whenever it is started, the current status of various variables and the registers are available, and from that point onwards the execution will start, or the saved value processings are useful further. In this way, whenever the system fails, clock fails, it is taken over on the internal oscillator block and it is safely shut down. Then there is two velocity begin up in this option. Uh, Permits the inner oscillator to serve as a clock supply from energy to reset or wake up from sleep mode till the primary clock supply is available. Till the primary clock supply or principal clock supply is available, internal clock supply is used. So there will be two velocity begin up. So begin up, starting up of the system is two velocity. Okay, internally the clock is there, that is used to start up, and once the wake up of the system is there, sleep mode, it comes out of the sleep mode, then the primary clock supply is available and it will be switched over on the primary clock supply. So basically what is there? There are multiple clocks. External clock is faster clock, internal clock is also supporting in case of failure or in case of starting of the systems, etc. Non-availability of the primary clock is there, then the internal clock is supporting it. That is the basic feature of this. So this is the peak microcontroller, the portion of fifth chapter. So we have discussed the fifth chapter and the peak microcontroller. We have constrained the syllabus. We have already reduced the syllabus from exam point of view, and whatever we have discussed that will be uh, asked in the examination. Okay, so you will be having the syllabus portion, whatever we have discussed. We do check all the lectures on the YouTube and accordingly we prepare it. I am sharing all the notes and literature on our Google Classroom class on as a material, study material. You go through those material and you go watch the YouTube lectures I am uploading and uploaded, so that it will be easier to face the uh, examination. So this completes the fifth chapter, and we'll tomorrow start with sixth chapter of the embedded system. Uh, do join tomorrow. So we'll have the discussion on the sixth chapter. Thank you.